The best heist movies of all time. Most of us don't want to do anything illegal, although we can't deny that there's a bit of a rush, especially when it's an elaborate, well-planned crime. To be clear, a decent heist story isn't just a simple robbery. It's a premeditated crime, done by a group of criminals who will do everything to elude authorities to get the prize. But what we really want as viewers is not what the reward is, but how the criminals plan the heist. And most importantly, if they manage to get away scot-free. In this list, we'll be going through just a few of the best heist movies of all time. Prepare to have your mind blown by the high-paced action. Before we continue, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Best of Tens to get more content like this. Now, moving on with the video. Logan Lucky.
20 yards. I don't know, maybe 30.
Is it 20 or is it 30? We are dealing with...
To kickstart this list is Soderbergh's rough heist movie, Logan Lucky, that has a lot of fun and serves as a very neat subversion of his earlier movies. Channing Tatum and Adam Driver play an unlikely pair known as the Logan Brothers. One day, after being let go by the company, Jimmy, played by Tatum, along with his one-armed brother Clyde, played by Driver, decided to rob the Charlotte Motor Speedway, being one of the biggest and most popular racing events in America. Planning such a heist would require a bit of help. This is where the high-energy, explosive expert Joe Bang, that's played by Daniel Craig, comes in. But of course, it won't go smoothly as an FBI agent starts to catch up with their plan. Overall, the movie is a fun and surprisingly touching film that a lot would enjoy. Inception.
That's the key area of it! You have to go now!
Christopher Nolan's Inception is one of the director's acclaimed movies and still holds up even after a decade. If it wasn't for the head-scratching science fiction elements, it wouldn't have been one. It's actually one of the few, if not the only one, to be considered a heist movie, even though the crew isn't stealing something, but actually planting an idea inside the mind of a powerful businessman, played by Cillian Murphy. All the tropes that make it a heist movie are present too. The mastermind named Cobb, recruiting of the brilliantly sketched-out crew, meticulously planning, and the under-the-radar execution. Although it may seem complicated, considering the fictional elements and the complexity of the plan itself, Nolan lays out the rules of this world clearly and comprehensively so that the audience is never lost. With constantly changing scenery, twists, and the fact that you're questioning which is reality and the dream world, makes it a purely entertaining film that ends with a final ambiguous shot. Reservoir Dogs.
God damn you, Joe. Don't make me do this.
Larry, stop pointing that fucking gun at my dad!
Easily one of the most iconic heist movies of all time is Quentin Tarantino's debut film, The Reservoir Dogs. The film follows a group of strangers who were rounded up for one good diamond heist. The film shows how each member communicates with each other along with the gang's preparation. But, as with the best heist films, the cracks start to show after the robbery itself. The interesting part of the movie is that it doesn't even show you the heist itself. So, why is it regarded as one of the best? Besides the great dialogue, pop culture references, and infamous torture scene, it's Tarantino's incredibly mature storytelling ability, non-linear narrative structure, along with his smart use of flashbacks that reveal each of the robbers' background that made it hugely influential to its predecessors. The Town. The Town is one of the modern classics in this genre, with love being a major element. Love can be the driving force for a person or even a group to take action and exceed their limitations. But not for this one, for it might even be the factor that might tear the group apart. In the movie, after successfully robbing a bank one day and getting a hostage as insurance during the escape, Doug, played by Ben Affleck, found himself being attracted to their kidnapped guest. Even after letting her go, Doug continued to deepen his relationship with Claire, enacted by Rebecca Hall. As it develops, his three lifelong friends start to think that she's a hindrance to their next big score, who needs to be eliminated. It's one of those movies where it's not just about the heist itself. It's more about the relationship between the members and an outsider who shuffles the dynamics, forcing one of the crew to choose which path to take. Widows. Steve McQueen directs this revenge heist centering around four women who had their husbands killed during a heist, starring Viola Davis, who was threatened by a man who their husband stole from. They're now forced to do a heist themselves to pay back the amount. With the plans of the supposed next heist of her husband in her hands, she gathers the crew for one great scheme. It is a timely and relevant slice of feminist cinema that doesn't rely on condescending girl power. What makes the movie so interesting to watch, besides the superb acting of the actresses, lies in the meticulous way the women prepare for the robbery, casing the target's house, and practicing with different weights of money. It's an excellent depiction of non-criminal characters planning a heist, whether they're acquiring guns, buying a getaway vehicle, or doing some amateur sleuthing. The makeshift way each of the members gets ready feels incredibly plausible. Le Cercle Rouge. One of the most classic movies for this list's theme is the 1970 French film Le Cercle Rouge. It features the fantastic Alain Delon as a newly released felon due to his good behavior, but immediately gets a tip-off about a jewelry shop. What's a man to do if there's a jewelry shop just crying out for a robbing? The protagonists recruit fugitive Jean-Marie Volonté and alcoholic ex-cop Yves Montand to assist him, all the while being pursued by a detective named André Bourville. The heist sequence itself lasted for roughly 30 minutes, conducted in complete silence. As ever though, while the heist itself goes down without a hitch, the pre-existing grudges that proves to be the gang's undoing. Heat. Another blast from the 90s is the classic Heat. Michael Mann's seminal film is one of the most influential crime thrillers ever made, and its fingerprints evident on films as varied as The Dark Knight and Internal Affairs. Especially that the legends Robert De Niro and Al Pacino gave such an electric performance as the consummate professional thief and the formidable detective. The thief and the detective play a game of cat and mouse on an epic scale throughout the movie. Moreover, Mann lets the audience decide who to empathize with. Pacino's workaholic detective that's on the side of the law but ignores his wife. Or De Niro's callous thief with a sweet relationship with a girl he meets. The gunfights, sound effects, judgment, immersive scenes, and everything else made Heat a one-of-a-kind film. Ocean Series. You can't have a list of heist movies without the infamous Steven Soderbergh's franchise. Just by looking at the cast, you'll know that it's going to be a great movie, starring George Clooney, Brad Pitt, Matt Damon, and many other famous actors. The original trilogy follows a group of thieves who rob famous casinos by using a well-oiled plan, with just the perfect crew members to execute it. The films are the perfect blend of comedy and action, plus a little suspense. It's one of those franchises that has the star power, a fun plot, and never tries to do more than show a lot of pretty people doing illegal things. Furthermore, because of Soderbergh's precision behind the camera and his fluid use of editing, which made the plot seem light and breezy, makes it one of the all-time coolest heist films. There are a lot of factors to consider when judging a heist film. Factors such as plausibility, execution, meticulous planning, and many others come into play. But the most important factor is that it should be able to give us that feeling of thrill as they do something seemingly impossible and not to mention illegal. This is Best of Tens. Like, subscribe, ring the notification bell, and be sure to watch these other videos for more explosive entertainment.